You good? Oh, that was disgusting.
Anthony, please don't put that in. My friends watch these.
Hey everybody, welcome to Smile Girl Don't Be Nervous. I am Juana, I am the mom.
And I'm Esperanza, I'm the daughter.
And we are Smile.
Welcome. We need like a theme song.
Oh, we do. Can't be like the
That's Bailey Sarian.
Yeah.
Hello, Knuckles. What are you doing?
Snuggles would like to say hi. She's introducing. It's the Knuggles. So remember to like, share, and hit the bell for notifications for when our episodes drop. I know we are back on time. Again, we have, we didn't drop episode 15 on time because we actually are dropped that on New Year's Eve for the New Year's episode.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so that, but that was the only one that was late. But everything else is on time. You should start seeing some behind the scenes episodes and little snippets about what we've got coming up. We did some serious planning yesterday about, what this new beautiful background is gonna look like.
This will change.
This will totally change. So if you love this, I'm sorry.
We don't.
We do. We actually do.
It's just not
enough.
Elaborate.
Yeah, it's because we're bougie
and we're flashy.
And we are super flashy. So this just isn't enough.
Yeah.
For us.
I like the flowers though.
Yeah, the flowers look fabulous. I'm so glad we brought these back. So.
They're like falling apart though.
Are they?
Oh, and there's cobwebs in them.
Oh. I probably need to get like a canned air thing and clean them up a little bit, but I still love these flowers.
You know where you can get those, right?
So, you should have seen all of those episodes as well. All the new things coming. We found a beautiful, beautiful wall decor that we are going to put on here, and it's of course books and butterflies and daisies, and it's going to be amazing. We are also redoing our table, so super excited about that. So,
and the wall will be different colors.
I'm super excited. We do have to go pick a color, but we have a great idea on what we're going to do.
Yeah.
It looks great in my brain.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
It's like, boom.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Hey, that still needs done, by the way.
Yep. So, also working on getting some furniture and tables undergoing some changes. We are expanding our table, better lighting. So, yes, please, thank you once again for having patience with us as we are growing and getting better and learning new things. So, we appreciate you all being here and being consistent viewers. So,
I just drooled a little bit.
Oh, yeah. You're just so excited, huh? Just overwhelmed.
This tea is just...
We got great tea. In general.
Sure. Speaking... Never mind. That's it.
That'll come for a later episode. All right. So trigger warnings and advisories for this episode. We are going to be talking about possibly some addictions in this episode. And of course, we have the spoiler alert that we have for every single episode. Also, what I have realized that I've totally forgot that we're doing is if in talking about any of the toxic situations that we have going on or whatever, and you need to disclose, feel free or please do not be afraid to reach out to an adult, trusted adult, police officer, social worker, teacher, lawyer, whatever you need to in order to disclose whatever you need help with. We really want everyone taken care of and put in better situations. There is hope. There is a better future out there for everybody. So we just really, I realized that I hadn't said that for the last couple of episodes.
I have to sneeze so bad.
And bless you, since you took away my sneeze earlier.
And you're welcome.
So, yes, I can't believe I forgot that. That's like a super important part of my core being. So I don't know how we forgot that. I think we just got so busy. So, can you, since Snuggles has graciously put herself over my notes, can you tell us what this next quote is?
I can. It is, believe in yourself, daughter, and get ready for what it is to come.
Okay. So that being said...
For what is to come.
For what is to come.
There we go.
Yeah, okay, got it. Good job.
Just added words.
Good job.
Added words.
So, I know my brother was supposed to be here for this episode, but ironically, he backed out of this episode because he is getting ready to start school and finish up everything because he's doing renovations on his house. So he's getting everything ready so that he can focus on school when school comes.
Yep.
So, ironic that is
Still fucked
the explanation for why he's not here.
Yeah.
Because he's getting ready, in our quotes about getting ready.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, what do you think about this book?
So I automatically go to a conversation that I had with somebody last night.
Okay, what you got? This is a new story, so I haven't heard it either, so
yeah.
We're going to be newbies together.
So, like, he was like, what's your...
My nose is running, I'm so sorry.
Ew.
I know, I'm almost cosa. I don't even know why. I'm not even sick anymore. It's just like...
It's because you did your makeup.
Open faucet. I know. Every time any of you that do your makeup, you know, like...
Yeah.
Or your tears start running or whatever. Just bodily fluids. It's just horrible. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So, he was like, what's your fear in life? And I was like, failing.
Man, that's a big-ass, like, question.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But, like, the first thing that came to my head was failing.
Okay, the fear of failure?
Yeah.
That's a thing.
A huge thing for me. And I stopped doing a lot of the things that I was doing because I was like, well, this is going to fail, so it's fine. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, like with school, like, although school is my number one thing right now, and I know I won't fail that. So that's not the problem. The problem is the thing afterwards. Creating that business, creating that salon that I have just elaborately planned in my head.
We should draw that out at some point. Anyways,
yes.
Go ahead.
So like that failing, or if I get that business and it fails, you know what I mean? Like I just constantly think about that. And he's like, but why? And I was like, 'cause self-doubting is a huge thing for me. And I doubt myself so hard to the point where I just don't do it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I talk myself out of it. And he's like, believe in yourself. I wish it was that easy.
Hold on, let me turn on the lights and go.
Got it.
Yeah.
Like, no. And he is like, well, why do you doubt yourself? And I'm just, because I always have. Mm-hmm. Always. And he's like, why? Who told you couldn't do this? And I was like, myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you didn't grow up with that.
Yeah.
Like that's not... That wasn't the parenting technique.
Yeah.
Like, your guys' whole lives. Like, it was, okay, you don't want to go to school? That's cool. Like, what are you going to do? You can literally do anything you want. So, it's your responsibility to figure out what it is first and then take those steps toward that. But the road's open. Yeah. You know, you can do whatever you want. So, you didn't get that from, like, a raising thing. You know, usually 95% of the time it's like, oh, my mom said I couldn't do that. Or, you know, like, my grandma said, oh, I was never going to be anything. Or, you know, whatever. Like,
she's part of it. But, you know what I mean? Like,
but that wasn't a consistent thing.
And so, it was mostly just my thoughts of, can you do this? Or are you going to fail?
Right.
And so...
You're shitting so.
I know. I'm, like, scared she's going to get in my tea. Oh, it is in my tea!
Yeah, probably.
But that's just where I instantly go with that quote. Just because he was like, believe in yourself. I wish
if only you were that simple.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And I was like, maybe you should practice what you preach.
Which is a whole different discussion.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to steal your notes since Snuggles, his is just right.
But you can't even see her.
I know. I don't know how, because she's like literally taking up the whole table right here.
Yeah. You fat ass.
She's just a little squish.
She's
fine.
potato.
She's not a potato.
She's a potato.
All right, so to give some context around this quote on what's going on, so Zoe is talking to Nala, and Nala is her cat.
Kidding. Okay.
Yeah, so...
Can I use
yes, absolutely. So Nala is an orange cat, and her meow is kind of broken, kind of like how Kisa's was.
Like Duckers?
Like Duckers, yeah. Where she just is like...
Yeah.
So, Zoe is talking to her cat, Nala, and this was the cat that chose her after she got to the House of Night. Because the step loser wouldn't allow her to have a cat. And so I believe, if I remember correctly, she had to give the cat away that she had to street cats, which she ends up working with later in the series.
Okay.
So Zoe is talking to Nala and telling Nala that she thinks hard stuff is coming. Oh my gosh. Okay, so in order to preface this, so this
okay,
is
you scared the shit out of me.
I'm so sorry. So this is the last quote from Chosen.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And the next book.
And the next book is Untamed.
Yes.
So this is like at the end, everything, you know, the big climax has happened in this book. And this is like at the end where she's just sitting and just thinking about like, okay, like we got through that issue. And so now she's just kind of processing through like, you know, the things that have happened in this book. Mm-hmm. And so that's, you know, she's just in there talking with her cat like I do at the end of my day. Right. And she's...
You sound like a loner, Mom.
I know, but this may nuggles. This girl knows too damn much. Okay, like
you know, sometimes like she would come into my room and I'd be like, "How was your day?"
Yeah. This may nuggles. She's like the best therapist.
She just sits there and looks at you like you're fucking retarded, and I'm like, "Cool, yeah,
good talk. Thanks." Thanks for coming.
I know I was
like
retarded. Okay?
Everybody else.
I know. And she's like,
so glad you see that.
And then left. Yeah, no. Thanks, Snuggles.
Good looking out.
Got you, bro.
Yeah, so she tells Nala that she thinks that hard stuff is coming, but she honestly believes that Nyx has chosen her, which means Nyx will be with her. She also says that Nyx chose her. Choosing her kind of makes her question her decision-making skills.
Okay.
Right? And then right after that, this line is what Nyx tells Zoe.
Okay.
Okay. So, got the picture on what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay. So, have you ever had that kind of situation where you're just like, oh man, like, I don't know, like, why I'm here or why I was chosen to be here? And then it comes out later that you really were the best person for the position.
Not really. Because all my, like... And I instantly go to jobs for, like, being chosen.
Right.
But all of my jobs have been, like, serving. Or in the serving industry.
Mm-hmm.
So not really. Because... like, it's a restaurant.
Okay, so I'm going to give you an example for you that you probably don't even realize.
Okay.
Okay, so today's Sunday, so we went in Friday to go look for the new glasses.
Yes.
Right? And Miss Annie, who hired me over at Outback,
yes,
was there, and she was asking me questions, and then she looked at you, and she's like, and Mama, like, what do you know, like, do you have contacts?
Yeah, I was like you remember me?
Oh. So, like, how did that make you feel? Because it was all over your face. You were like, oh What?
Okay, so I have this huge fear of I'm gonna remember somebody from the past and they're not gonna remember me. Okay?
How is that a fear? Is it just like, does that go along like with the self-doubt? Like,
yeah,
okay.
and it's an abandonment thing too.
Okay. Oh, okay, bye, necklace.
And so I just, when people like show that they do remember me or like they do remember what I did for them,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I meant something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I did something that left an impact in order for you to remember me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna feel real happy. Like, I literally used to stand back there and roll silverware for like
$5.
$5 a stack. And I'd be back there for like 8 hours.
You're right. Right.
Tray after tray after tray. And we'd have like 10 servers on the floor that night.
Yeah, because that was back when Outback was super busy.
Yeah. So, like...
And so you were, like, rotating stacks because
Yeah.
there were times where we would have to take stacks and fill those up front in order to keep setting tables. And so you'd be getting more and more and more trays. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were, like, 15 at
Yeah.
that point, right?
And I...
No.
Yeah.
No, because you started at 16.
Okay, so I was 14.
Like 13, 14?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like... And I'd make like $50 a night.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you know, like, and so...
In between, like, Emily and Miss Mary.
And sometimes
and
people would be like, okay, so, like, I'll pay you more if you do it first. I'm like, all right, $10.
Yep.
Like...
You're back there doing your side hustle.
Yeah.
In the silverware tray.
Yeah. And I would go through, like, 10, 15 trays of silverware.
Right.
And those bitches are packed of silverware.
Yeah.
They're not, like...
Yeah, because we had good dishwashers back then, too.
Yeah.
And so they were bringing it up.
Yeah, and my Scuba Steve.
Yeah, Scuba Steve.
That was my bro.
Dude, that guy was fucking crazy. I don't care. Like, he might have been nice to you, but that guy was fucking crazy. I know it.
He brought me my silver. That's all I needed. You know what I mean? And I would do the server silverware, and I'd do the takeaway silverware.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd put it in the buckets for them, so they didn't even have to worry about that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like... And, like, Annie wasn't even knowing that I was doing that.
Yeah, she did, because we were getting in trouble on the backside.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because she was like, your silverware is not supposed to be done until the end of your shift, and Esperanza isn't supposed to be rolling the silverware. And so then that's when we were paying you, like, on the backside. We're like, no, don't start it yet, but here you go, here's some money.
I'm all, okay. Who's watching? You know what I mean? So I have my headphones in and just fucking go.
Doing the damn thing.
Just go.
Mm-hmm.
And those silverware stacks are not... You got 60 silverware a stack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So when you're rolling 10 people's silverware, that's 600 silverware.
Right.
That's a lot of silverware.
There's a lot of silverware.
And you got 2 forks in each.
Yeah.
So what is that, 1,200? That's a lot of fucking silverware.
Yeah.
And I do that shit like it was
just
nothing.
Forks.
Yeah.
But then you had to polish like the butter knives for takeaway.
Yeah.
And then we had the spoons for, you know, the desserts and stuff.
So like I was polishing a lot of silverware.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some times where I'd have to wait for the trays to come out.
Mm-hmm. So we'd go chit chat with you in the silverware corner.
Yeah.
And then we'd be like, whoop, gotta go.
Yeah. And like even like the takeaway people or like cooks or I've always had a deeper connection with cooks. It's probably because of like what happened at like the planes.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. But like the cooks. The cooks would come out and talk to me. The dishwashers would come out and talk to me. Like takeaway would come out and talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
And just everybody knew me. Right. Everybody knew me as the rolling silverware.
Right.
And I was cool with that.
Right.
Until I got hired. And then I actually had to do something with my life.
Right. And then the situation kind of changed.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I just can't stand back here and roll silverware? Fuck.
Damn it. I have to actually do stuff.
Yeah. Clean tables? God.
Okay, so the article that we are going to cover is called Using Motivational Interviewing and Brief Action Planning for Adopting and Maintaining Positive Health Behaviors. This article was written by Stephen A. Cole, Deepa.
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
Deepa Danady.
Dahani? Danahai? Danahai?
Sure.
Okay.
Yuri Turtilis Jadit and Alan Rosansky. Whew. In Progress in Cardiovascular Disease in the 2023 volume. In the 2023 issue of Progress in Cardiovascular Diseases, volume 77, pages 86 to 94.
That was really difficult.
That was really difficult. Man, I feel like I kind of had a stroke there for a minute. Those names mess me up every time.
I don't know why you do that to yourself. I feel like you
really
like.
smart.
I feel like you like. Bro, harder names. Yeah, no, this is a great one.
I'm gonna choose this article because these are the worst possible names that I'm gonna try and pronounce on camera because I'm not smart enough to practice it off camera first. Because you know.
And you're like, it's fine.
This is
a great one.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll figure it out.
I feel like we should start looking at these before and be like, all right, we need to look it up.
Like we need a phonetic spelling of this guy's last name.
I need a.
Yeah.
What are those like with like a word and you look it up and it's like sound by sound by sound.
Phonetics.
Okay.
Yeah. The phonetic spelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where they break it up.
Like how it's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How it's pronounced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it doing? Nothing. She has like a gold piece in her eye.
Yeah, she does. It's like this little like triangle sliver.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Necklace.
Okay, so this one was a really cool article to read. Mostly because I understood it because I've done this. So I was trained when I was working at a Wyoming Independent Living and Rehabilitation in Albany and Carbon County.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go back to episode 1 to know about like kind of what I did there. But I used.
Oh my God, my nose too.
Dude, I know. I don't know what's going on. I used this process of motivational interviewing, which I think is, the motivational interviewing. I was literally trained on how to do this through WYLR. And my notes. Thank you so very much. I love having you here, Snows. You're amazing.
Hey, Doe.
So thanks.
I just need them sometimes for notes.
Yes. I'll read a line and then I'll give it back to you, I promise. Since I can't write on mine either. So I was trained in how to do motivational interviewing, and then what I did at WYLR is I was given a referral about people who needed independent living needs or visual impairment adjustments. So what we did is for a couple of examples, I had a client who was almost lights out blind. Okay, like she could see light and she could see dark, but she couldn't see any details or anything, right? So her hallway, like you go into her front door and you could turn either left or right. So if you turned right, it went into like a living room, and then a dining room, and then she had her kitchen area, which was totally like full of windows. Mm-hmm. So she could see like where she was maneuvering into her house. Okay. But if you turned right,
it had the red lights at the bottom, right?
They weren't red, they were white. So we ended up, it was dark because there was a hallway and then there was rooms on either side, right? In like the older houses. So there was obviously no lights in there because it's not an open floor plan. So what we ended up doing is right when you walk in the door, you have like your little entryway. So we started the lights because at night, of course, you're not going to get much light in that area either. So we improvised and bought some rope lights and kind of lined the walkway through her entryway down to her hallway, so that kind of like a landing strip, she could see like where she was going. And then for another customer for the independent living side, I would interview them, see what they needed help with, whether that was, toiletry needs or, getting dressed or something like that. I would go through and do an interview with them using this motivational interviewing to say, kind of in the best possible world, like, what are you struggling with on the daily?
Right.
Is it, you know, that you need a walk-in shower because you can't get your leg up over the bathtub? You know, are you needing some bath rails in the shower so that you can, you know, help yourself up, you know?
So I just thought about it. The girl with the rope lights, wasn't she the one that pointed out the owl?
No. The one with the rope lights was a client that I had actually in Laramie. The one with the owl, she was in Rollins.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the girl that we took up to, what was her?
She had she needed both. She needed some visual aids, and she had some independent living aids.
Okay.
Yeah, and she was you guys off to go to the pool with David, and then I went to go see her because there was like 0 cell service where she was at. So, yeah, amazing lady. But, you know, we have like the Braille Trail, the Braille Trail up on the mountain, you know, specifically made for those with visual impairments.
It's so cool.
It's way cool. We ended up getting the traffic lights, the talking traffic lights downtown, specifically for those with visual impairments. So that agency did a really good job in teaching people how to advocate for themselves and ask for what they need and stuff. And it was because out in the field we were using this motivational interviewing to figure out, you tell me how to help you. I'm not going to come in here and be like, okay, this is what you need. You need this and this and this and this and this.
Right, no. It's what do you think?
Yeah, what do you want? You know, like, and I use this even with you, and Anthony too, in like, okay.
What's your end goal?
Yeah. And then that's how we always work backwards. Like, we've talked about that numerous times in these episodes is, you know, where are you trying to go? And then, you know, working backwards from that. Use it with Shauna all the time too, you know, and it's just, people don't realize that it is that motivational interviewing technique.
Right.
So there are 4 core processes to this motivational interviewing technique. Okay. So the first, so the first one is engaging. Second is focusing. Third is evoking motivation. And 4 is planning for change. Okay. So if you think about the process in getting people what they need to get to that end goal, right? Like, first of all, like we said, you have to figure out what that end goal is. Right? So engaging or connecting with patients uses that relational skill of active listening and empathetic communication. Right? So building that foundation and having a conversation, like, you can't just go into somebody's house, like, we can't go into the neighbor's house and be like, hey, so, like, what can I do for you? He's going to be like, you can get the fuck out of my house, right? Like, because there's no connection there, right? So building that connection, that is the foundational importance of rapport and connection, right? You have to be able to relate to people and have that connection with people in order to get them into engage conversations like this. Right?
You can't just like, be like, hey, yeah, what up?
You can't bust it like the Kool-Aid man talking about,
oh yeah,
tell me all of your things that you want to accomplish, because I don't know you from Adam. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna tell you I didn't
even talk to like my school counselors because they didn't try and connect with me. Right.
And I think that's what a lot of people are missing, and this goes to a generational thing that we always come back to, is your generation doesn't know how to connect. Right. Because of the excessive use of technology, whereas we do, because we had to go outside and go play with the neighborhood kids down the street because there's nobody else in our vicinity. You know, like.
I actually ran into a problem like that the other day.
Like what?
We didn't feel like our conversation was getting done well enough, so we met in person. Yeah. And people were like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, right, yeah.
And we're like,
we're having a conversation. like, just because I'm at somebody's house doesn't mean that there's something else going on. It's just that we're having a face-to-face in-depth conversation to have that
about
connection.
Something that I didn't feel like needed to happen over the phone.
Right. And those are the conversations that those generally people who don't know how to have that connection, they're like, oh yeah, we can talk everything out over the phone. But phone, you take out facial expression, like body communication is 90% of communication.
And you don't get your tone.
Yep. You're missing tone. You're missing
body language.
You're missing facial expressions. Yeah. You're missing, like if somebody's completely disconnected or disinterested, you're not getting any of that. Like you're literally just getting words. But even words are often misunderstood, especially if you take the tone out of them, or your brain is giving you a different tone than what's actually being used.
And you use like an exclamation point because you want to get the point across, and you're like, oh, but you're yelling at me, and you're like, no, like
I'm super excited about this. Yeah. Like it's just like the extra.
Yeah, and so I feel like that use of technology that our generation does use is way overused.
Right. And it's not the solution for everything.
And I wasn't raised like that. And
no.
So, if I feel like a conversation is not going well over technology, I will be like, okay, this is not working over a phone. Let's meet up.
Right. I mean, there are certain people in my life that I have to have those conversations in person. Yes. Because it does not go well via phone.
And we've had those conversations of, okay, you guys keep trying to have this over conversation. And it still happens. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So, really having that the rapport and the connection. So when you are doing that, you're using active listening, open questioning, acceptance, and empathetic communication, right? And so you're really engaging and asking those questions, and those open-ended questions, not the leading questions. And I know you know what that means. But okay, so leading questions are yes and no answer, right? Did you go outside? Yes. Did you have problems eating and making your dinner this tonight? Yes. But you're not getting the answers that you need. So you were struggling with making dinner. Can you tell me how you were struggling? That's an open-ended question because then you get the answer back.
So how?
Yeah. Tell me stories. Tell me, how you're feeling. Those open-ended questions, not yes or no. The yes or no are leading questions. You're not going to get any answers out of that.
And it doesn't tell you. It's not a lead.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you're asking leading questions, you're directing people to say what you want them to say.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're asking those open-ended questions, you're able to get the full story as to what's going on and what the issues are, and then you can start piecing together how you can start helping people. Right? So there's the 4 core processes, right? Mm-hmm. And here are the feetsies. Okay.
And she's ticklish.
She is. And then there are 4 core skills of motivational interviewing. So there's open questioning, which we already talked about, affirmation, reflections, and summaries. Okay. So what do you know about those things? Because I think you know about all of those things, but does any one of those really jump out to you?
So affirmations.
Okay.
And I automatically go to WYLR because we just used that example. Be like, okay, I know this is a struggle for you, but here's how we fix it. And here's how we can not fix it, but here's how we can help you in order to
make it easier.
Do those day-to-day things without struggling.
Right.
As
much. Yeah.
And she's having a little bad dream. So I automatically go to affirmations.
Right. Okay. So we just talked about, so affirmations build rapport, patient self-efficacy, and motivation. They should be compassionate, genuine, commensurate with patients' actual efforts or positive attributions, and used sparingly.
Okay.
Which is crazy in this day and age because every time you get on any kind of social media, they're like, affirmations, 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 affirmations. But then when you, see, even Snuggles doesn't even like that. She's like, can you just shut the fuck up?
She's so mad.
I know. So, but when it's talking about using it sparingly because
the more you use it, it's less genuine.
It seems disingenuous, right? So when you are in a patient's office, because this is coming from a medical journal,
there we go.
Okay. And your doctor keeps saying, you're doing a great job. You're doing great. You really worked hard on this and I'm so proud of you. But you're doing great. And you're sitting there and you're like,
I've been crying for the last 3 days. So ironically, go to social media, and social media is a big part of my life, like Instagram, because that does have my modeling page on it. And I found this girl who commented on one of my posts and was like, "You're so pretty," and I was like, "Oh, thank you." And then I looked at her page and she commented that on every post that she saw, and I was like, okay, so this is just a routine for you.
But it may be genuine for her.
It may be, but it seems...
Right, it just comes across. So, in the attorney world, right, appearances are everything.
Yes.
Right? If there is an appearance of something going on in the legal world, that means there is something going on.
Right.
Right? So, it's so... That's why it says to use them sparingly, because you don't want them to come across as disingenuine or insincere, right? Because you want those positive. So there's that toxic positivity thing that they keep talking about, and it's a real thing. You can't. There are lots of different processes that come through in order to get you through those detrimental situations, right? If you have a death in the family, being positive about that is not going to get you through that.
Yeah.
Right? And so that is when it becomes toxic and people come away from that. And people come away from you because you're like, oh, I just can't fucking deal with her. I am trying to process my own emotions. And here she is, talking about,
oh, he's in a better place now.
It's okay. This is a blessing. And that is the last thing you want to hear. When you are processing through
what happened,
the event and losing your person and all of these different things. And if you want further discussion on that, refer back to the death and dying episode that we did a couple of weeks ago. So that is why, it's talking about using sparingly.
And even if you want to I automatically go to commenting. If you want to give a compliment, change it up.
Yeah.
And this girl that I used to go to high school with, I haven't heard from her in years.
Okay.
And we do have each other on Snapchat, and I posted, something on my on my public account, and she was like, oh my god, you are so naturally so beautiful. And I was like, and it wasn't just, oh my god, you're so pretty, you're so pretty, you're so beautiful. It was, you're naturally beautiful. And I was like, I have never heard that compliment.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, it meant something to me.
It really resonated with you. Yeah. Yeah.
So just change it up.
Yeah. So the next one is reflections. So reflections, especially complex ones, in the engagement process build connection and trust, inviting further disclosure and exploration. So what does that mean to you?
I'm sorry.
You missed it?
I checked out.
You missed it? No. You're totally good. You're totally good. Okay, so reflections. Okay, so especially the super complex hard ones that are real deep in
Can you explain what reflections means in this term?
Okay, so it explains it. So the engagement process builds connection and trust, inviting further disclosure and exploration. So literally, this is what we do every episode.
Okay.
Is we reflect. on past situations and stories and, you know, like, oh, you had a situation like that? Well, I did too, and here's what I learned from mine.
Right. Okay.
Okay. You know, we get these tips, you know, knowledge from these psychological studies, and we use these topics to reflect on our own personal lives and see how they interact, right? So that's what reflection is. Okay. So you're in the doctor's office, and you know you're struggling with. I literally had a conversation with Bergeron about his reflection. You know, he was like, there are nights that I couldn't sleep. There was stuff going on. I was stressed about school. I was, you know, stressed about what was going on in my life. And so I decided to use my time and just actually get up and get on the bike. He goes, I really suck at it.
But you still did it.
He was like, but it was better than wasting the time just laying there and going through all of this instead of actually just doing something with my time. And so at that moment in time, I was struggling to sleep. Right? I couldn't get to sleep. And then when I could get to I can always get to sleep.
It's a struggle of waking
It's just
up
about like getting, like
good
staying
sleep.
Asleep.
Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, that was his reflection. You know, he's like, yeah, you know, like I've experienced this. And so this is how I handle that situation. And so that's reflection. Okay. And so that engagement process builds connection and trust, obviously.
Yeah.
Right? Inviting further disclosure and exploration. So, yeah, so like I can get to sleep, right? You have trouble falling asleep, so that's a little bit different. But that that brings up a really good point. Maybe I should try something like that.
Right. And like I know like we both have issues with sleep. Like I can't get to sleep. But when I'm asleep,
you're out.
I'm done.
You're out. Yeah.
But you can get to sleep.
I can fall asleep like 30 seconds.
But you can't stay asleep.
Yeah, can't stay asleep.
So we can't really like...
Yeah. So you have sleep issues? Oh, me too. Oh.
But they're not the same.
They're a little bit different. But, you know, like, let's try and talk it out.
Yeah.
And see if there's something in there, you know, that could help each other. Right. You know.
Right.
Oh, I haven't tried that. Let me try this.
Right.
You know, like...
I've tried everything.
So, to minimize accuracy and deepen collaboration, effective summaries usually conclude by inviting the patient with a sense of humility, curiosity, and partnership to provide further input. We do the same thing here in the episodes, right? So it'll be like, just providing that summary, and that's part of active listening, right? Okay, I heard you say X, Y, and Z.
Right.
So I'm also hearing you say that you're having problems with this and this and this.
Right.
Is that right? Okay, cool. So here is what I can offer. So then that's when you take that next step to make sure that you have everything together and to see, okay, am I missing something else? Is there, you know, you're having problems cooking? Okay, is it just cooking or is it cooking and baking?
Right.
And what part of cooking is it? Is it, you know,
standing at the stove?
Is it standing at the stove? Is it getting the measurements for the recipe? Or is it like the dexterity, like you need some bigger handle utensils? Like what exactly is it that, and so that's where that further discussion comes in from giving the summaries. Okay. I am going to be totally rude and take a picture right now of what our screen or what our table looks like, because this is what is happening off camera. Just because of the angle of the computer. So I'm going to put everything in here so you can see exactly what's happening. If you want to see this picture, go to Facebook because it's going to be a great picture.
Look at the little cheese.
So, because...
And she, like, folds herself in half.
I know. Snuggles
and then
is
she,
just, like,
slowly,
sprawled out on the table right here.
She, like...
Literally on my notes, and so that's why I'm still having to use Mama's notes.
She, like, folds herself in half, and then she, like, slowly, like...
And then she, like, slowly unbends. Yeah, so second, focusing elicits patients' full spectrums of concerns, expectations, and desire to negotiate a collaborative agenda. So going back to really having that engaging rapport and connection with whoever you're having a discussion with or interview with or whatever, being here, right?
Right.
And even if you do get distracted, still being able to coming back, you know, because kids, pets, alarms, you know, whatever. There's always going to be some kind of interruption.
And I know, like, ADHD is a huge thing now.
And it runs rampant in our family.
Yeah. And so, like, we can, and we're really good at it. We can be like, yeah. But did you see that?
Right.
But anyways,
oh my god.
But anyways, like, and then we can come back.
Right.
So we're really good at that. But sometimes we're like, fuck, I forgot what I was talking about. But
you're like, oh, I was telling you a story. And I forgot why I was telling you the story, but here's the rest of the story.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh yeah. Okay,
yeah.
So, and then, like, we jump right back in.
Or, like, we do it with, like, stupid shit, like, I don't remember the name of him. I'm going to think about it at, like, 4 o'clock in the morning.
I'm not going anywhere.
I'm going to remember at, like, 4 o'clock in the morning and text you.
And then we do. And then we do.
And then you're like, what is his name for? That was the name that I was trying to remember.
Oh, yeah, I knew that one.
Yeah.
You're like, bruh.
Yeah.
Why didn't you say something?
Like, I could have told you that.
Okay.
She's got black spots in her mouth.
Yeah. It's just because she's black. It's just part of her color.
So sorry. Damn.
So patients with ambivalence, motivational interviewing research.
Can you say that word again?
Ambivalence? That's just like that nonchalant. Just like,
Okay.
You know, just put meh. Meh.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Interviewing research demonstrates typically react negatively to persuasion, confrontation, or even direct advice.
It was just me, Snuggles. It was just me.
Okay. So that leads to discord in the relationship and ultimately decreased likelihood for healthy behavior change. Okay.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
You kind of lost me.
Okay.
Oh, she's holding me.
Where did I lose you?
So I got to persuasion. Okay, so I was confused on the react negatively to persuasion. How do you negatively react to persuasion?
Okay, so if you think about those hard patients, and we have all had those hard patients or hard customers or hard situations, where, okay, here's a perfect example. You're at a table. Okay, and they hate everything about their meal. Okay, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, what can I get you different? I can get you a whole different entree. You know, I can take this out of the way for you. I can take it off the ticket. I can get you something else. I can get you a free dessert. If you want to just take this, you know, I can get you something else. Or you want me to take it? Okay, cool. Like, and then there's those customers, 90% of the time that works.
Right.
You're like, okay, yeah, let me get you something else. I can get you a salad, whatever, right? That works. Then there's those customers that are like, I don't know. I don't like this. This is shit. I don't want anything else from your menu. I don't want the discount. I don't want a free dinner. You like those customers, and it doesn't matter what you say. You're like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm really trying to, you know, really help you out. I want you to have a good experience while you're here. And they are just absolutely not. Yeah. And they react even more negatively to any of your problem solving.
Right.
That you're trying to
bring a manager
offer them.
over, and they're like, oh my God, she was so sweet.
Yeah, she was so nice. And you're just like, I'm going to fucking cut you.
Right?
Because you're just like, oh my God, like, I literally said everything that you said at the table as a manager. You know, like,
it's that power.
Right.
And that's that. And I hate that people do this because serving's hard. It's not just serving. It takes a fucking toll.
Right.
Mentally, physically,
psychologically.
It's not just a job.
Right.
At that point. And people are just like, oh, you're a server? Like, and they treat servers like they're fucking bottom tier.
Yeah.
And I even had, like, this one table that was like, oh, what else do you do with your life if you're just a server? And I was like, excuse me? And they were like...
People are so disrespectful.
Yeah. And they were like, well, serving just can't be everything that you do with your life. I was like, actually, I'm a full-time cosmetology student. And he was like, oh. And I was like, yeah. Serving is just a side hustle for me, but it's also my life because
and the crazy thing is like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Like, Outback had a great...
Yeah.
I mean, the education level of the servers that were at Outback was phenomenal. Like, Ray she's written a book. She's been a teacher. She's got, like, 3 or 4 degrees. You know, like...
And, like, 15 kids.
You know, like, I had 3 degrees, and I was working there. Like, Mary had a crazy amount of schooling, you know, and she had a degree. Like, we were all there because we wanted to be.
Yeah.
Not because we had to be.
And like, I may be struggling for money, but I don't have to be there.
Right.
I have other jobs.
Right.
That I could be doing.
Right.
But I choose to be there because I like to be there. And it's fun, and I love serving. But when I have those tables that are like, oh, you're just a server. And I'm like...
No. Like, you have no idea who I am outside of here.
No.
I mean, like, Emily, she was doing school while she was there, and now she's, like, on her stuff. I mean, like, dude, like...
And she still serves there.
Yeah, because it's fun, you know? And it's even more fun when you don't have to be there.
Yeah.
You know? And so just the people who come in that are so very entitled, they're just super frustrating.
Yes.
So, those are the people that react negatively to persuasion. So, if they are acting that way in our restaurant, can you imagine how they act in a doctor's office?
Yeah, no.
Or how they react to anything remotely that they need to change in their life.
Why is she...
Because there's a truck.
Oh, okay.
Oh. You know?
You guys heard that?
Her little grunts.
Yeah. She was stretching.
Okay, so third... Evoking motivation utilizes uniquely innovative skills, such as softening sustained talk and cultivating change talk, to increase intrinsic motivation of patients with ambivalence or resistance to becoming more open to choosing healthier behaviors for themselves. That was a lot in that one. Okay, so what that line is basically saying is, in order to motivate any patients that come into your office, okay, especially if they're reacting negatively to persuasion, is you have to change the way that you're speaking to them.
Yes.
Okay, so instead of saying you need to change this and you need to change this and this needs to change as well, it should be more like, why don't you tell me what behaviors you think you need to change?
Right.
And then start from there. So instead of the you should, because that feels like an attack, it's more, it turns it back onto them.
Right.
Here's a list of ailments that we've got. You tell me what your thoughts are on this.
Right. And I automatically go to serving. like that table that I told you about with that 12 top, and he was previously in trouble, and like I was just gonna roll with it. Like, I was just like, can you point to me what you're looking at? And he was like, no, like, he can read you what he wants. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And like, he was like, can I get the, after everything, he was
sorry.
No, you're okay, I'm so sorry. He was like, can I get the chocolate? And I was like, the chocolate thunder from Down Under? He goes, yes. I was like, okay, yeah. Do you want just one spoon, or do you want, like, one for, like, people around you? He's like, people around me too, please. And I was like, okay, yeah, no, that's fine. Do we need some refills? And they were like, yeah, please. I was like, okay. What are we drinking?
You're right.
Because there's 12 of you.
Yeah.
So I need you to tell me
right.
what I need to bring for you.
Right. But in his mind, okay, so let's like play devil's advocate for a second.
In
because
his
I can see so many
Yes.
different things going on here. So one, is he dyslexic?
Yeah.
What does he struggle with reading?
Yeah.
Does he know how to read? Or does he just go off of memory and what's going on and just picking up like things as they go? Right? I didn't know how to read sheet music. But you tell me what those finger movements are, and I could play a whole fucking song on the violin. I didn't learn how to read sheet music until I was a senior, and I started playing violin in 4th grade.
Yeah, I still don't know how to read sheet music, and I was in choir and I was in orchestra.
Right.
And I still can't fucking read sheet music.
Right. So...
But you tell me the levels that I need to be on?
Oh, yeah.
Got it.
Right, yeah. You know, and so, does he struggle with reading? Did he assume you were the server that originally got the drinks? And so you knew already what he was drinking? Or did he not realize, you know,
and maybe 12 other people that
yeah,
are
like,
serving.
You know, and so that doesn't register for him
Right.
because he's never been in this field.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, she's got me. Well, I do, but like, I also have like everybody else
Yeah.
too. You know what I mean? So, and he's not thinking about all these, and he's already on the spot because his boss has like humiliated him in front of everybody.
Yeah.
So his brain is in panic mode.
Yeah.
And his hair's on fire. His little guy in his brain is on fire. And he's like, oh my God, like I'm on the spot and she hates me. And she's got all of this other stuff going on.
And he was so sweet. He was like, I feel really bad. And then he talked to me afterwards and I was like, why? Like, oh my gosh, like did I do something wrong?
Right.
And he goes, no, like I was mean to you and you're so pretty and you made me nervous.
Right.
And I was like,
yeah, you get that too.
like, I just wanted to know what you wanted to eat.
Right.
Like,
right.
And I just needed you to tell me what you were drinking because I have 7 other people drinking Coke. I have 1 drinking Dr. Pepper.
Right.
I have 5 of you other guys drinking water, and 1 of you are drinking fucking club soda.
Right.
Right? Which one are you?
Right.
And I normally can't, like, at a table of, like, 6 or less, I can remember what everybody's drinking.
Right. Absolutely.
The second...
At 4 different tables.
Yes.
You're like, oh, yep, they need a Coke, and they need a Sprite, and this one's got root beer, and this one's got the cherry Coke. I mean, like, you know.
And you can do that. But the second it's all in one, you're like...
So typical.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But the second that, though, like, if you have multiple people drinking one type of soda, you're good.
Right.
But remembering which one of those have that.
Right.
And like, one of them was drinking Dr. Pepper, one of them was drinking lemonade, one of them was drinking club soda.
Right.
Y'all are set.
Right. Yep. Got it.
Yep.
I will know your drink forever.
The rest of y'all?
Yeah. Yeah. It's difficult. Right. And it's those times, too, that you don't think of, you know, because I've had it, too, where they're nervous, right? Because you get there and you are pretty, right? And so you get there and you're like, and I've said this to people, I'm like, it's okay, baby, it's just me and you. Not thinking...
That's what's freaking them out.
Yeah, right? And I'm like, it's okay, it's just me and you, baby. I'm right here.
Yep.
You just tell me what you want, right?
And
thinking that, like, okay, like, we're focused. And then, like, no, that's the fucking problem. And you're like,
oh, my bad.
Oh, my God. Help him out, Mom. What's he want? What's he want?
Yeah, and
you
I
know,
do
like...
that a lot. I do that a lot. Like, if they're panicking, I look to somebody near them to help them.
Right. Like, help a sister out, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
don't let them just fucking sit there and struggle.
Because then they're going to be like, they're going to sit in that moment
forever. For a long time.
Ever. You know?
Yeah.
They're going to be 80 talking about, there was this one time I was in the restaurant and she was so pretty and I couldn't fucking talk. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to suck for them. And so you're just like, can somebody? Anybody?
Oh, no, y'all are just dicks. Cool.
Okay. All right.
So can you just point to me what you need? But you can't grab them because that makes them more nervous. So you're like, okay, and all the time, they tell me, like, their entree, and I'm like, okay, like, how are we cooking their steak? Medium. Okay, perfect. What are your sides? Where are your sides?
Bottom page.
Second page,
right hand.
on the bottom. Okay, and I always like to move their menu for them.
Right.
And
yep,
I'm always
I do too.
I'm always like, right here, baby.
Yeah.
And like, I had a few customers that were like, and it's just because I said right here, baby.
Right.
And they panic.
Right. And they get like, stuck on that. And you're like, no, like, that's, like, literally how I talk to everybody when I'm serving. Like,
it is. And and I'm not going to say it's a term of endearment because I don't know you.
Right. No.
It's just the fact of that I'm talking to you.
Right.
And I want you to know that I'm talking to you.
Right. And it's a personal thing.
Yes.
You know, like, you have my attention. I'm focused on you.
I
don't know your fucking name.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use a generic reference.
Yeah. Even at, and this is going to sound awful, even at the bar last night, our server, right. I was like, hey,
we were at a bar because we went to a country line dancing class.
Yes.
For the record, that's why we were at the bar.
Yes. And it was louder than hell in there.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, and she brought your card back, and I was like, thank you, baby. Like,
yeah.
Didn't even think about it.
Yeah. I do it at work.
Yeah.
I do it at work. You know, Bill drops off money, you know, for the candy bowl. And
I didn't know that you were collecting money for the candy bowl.
Yeah. I take whatever they give me.
They just start dropping money?
To just, like, not, I'm like, no, like, I'm okay. And then, like, no, you're going to take the money. And I'm like, okay. Yes, sir. You know?
Why are you talking to me like that?
Yeah. And I'm like, thanks, you're the best. All right, have a good weekend, baby. You know, like, or whatever. And I've had a couple of them stop, and I'm like, nope, just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going.
Close the door.
Just keep going.
Okay.
Cool.
Perfect if I had a string in the door, but just
like,
close.
just like, and it's just a thing. Like, it's just an automatic thing because I've been serving off and on since I was 18, 19. And I'm like 42 now. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's babe, baby, hun, sweetie, dude, bruh. You know, like.
Bruh, that's a good one. I don't use dude or bruh when I'm serving.
I do.
I do if I'm like joking with the table. I'm like, bruh.
Yeah.
Come on.
Or I'll be like,
seriously?
Dude.
Come on. I'm like, I'm like, no, for real. Can we get this on the
Yeah, like, yeah.
I got other tables that are waiting.
Yeah. So, learning how to change how you speak which we are generally really good at.
Yes.
You know, and so like, okay, this isn't going the way I need it to. Okay, how do I need to switch this up?
And we're really good at looking at like the vibe that's happening.
Right.
And so we're able to match that vibe real fast.
Right.
Like, I had this table who were literally coming to eat, to have a conversation, and it ended up coming into like a fight at the table. I just needed your order, so I'm like, hey guys, like, are we ready? Do we need a couple minutes? Like, what are we thinking? Yeah. And they were like, we need a few minutes. Yep, take your time. Yep, because I don't want to be here either. Nope.
Do not want to be involved in whatever is going on here at all.
But like at other tables, they're laughing and they're having fun, and I'm like, hey guys, like, my name's Esperanza. I'm gonna be taking care of you guys. What are we drinking?
I'm gonna be part of the party.
Yeah,
me too.
So you can tell on the vibe.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So just knowing, and even if you don't know how to pick up on that, listen to their body language or watch their body language. That is a huge thing that has saved me in so many situations. Yeah. You're like, okay, I get what you're saying, but you are not here at all. Yeah. You know? And so just being able to read that body language, and if that's not something that's a forte for you, really research that, because that is there's a show called Lie to Me that is amazing, and it teaches those micro expressions in the body language and stuff like that, and it goes over those things. And this was from a guy who had like training on this, like government, I believe, like level training,
and it even shows like how to tell if somebody's lying to you based off their eye movements. Yep. And that's fucking insane.
So like if you are, and I did receive training on that too. So like if you look up and to the left, that is memory recognition from the past. Because your mind plays a movie, right? And so if you're looking up and left, you're looking to past situations and you're watching that movie happen as you're talking about it. But if you're like looking up and right, that's a creative thing, and so you're making up the story as it goes. And so there's like different ways that you can, if your eyes dilate when you're talking to somebody, that means you have more emotion toward them. And so, I mean, there's just like little things that you can learn.
I do it a lot in relationships too.
Yeah.
And people are always like, why do you look so deep in my eyes? Okay, first of all, I'm trying to see what the fuck you're trying to tell me.
Yeah.
And I'm also trying to listen.
Right.
It's not just the fact of that, I'm so stunned by your eyes. No, I'm literally just trying to see where you're going.
Right. Right.
And I'm watching those eye movements. And the change of eye color when people tell you stories that they're passionate about.
Oh, man, it's so cool to watch.
It's crazy.
It's so cool to watch. And it's more prevalent with us because we have hazel eyes. So our eyes match our mood. So you'll know if I'm getting more and more angry because I get more and more brown. Ish. Or
you get more brown.
Deep brown.
It's shit brown. If you're mad.
And then like when I'm super happy or excited or something, then I go more towards like the green yellow. So like there's that, but then I see it in you, like when you're super happy, they generally turn gray, like that grayish. And then like more as you're more angry, it turns more towards like the green brown. Yeah.
But then when I cry, they're like straight gray.
Right.
And it's kind of scary to watch.
Right.
Like there was one time I was just crying and I went into the bathroom to like clean up and I was like, I can't go out there like this.
Right. Right.
Like I need my eyes to change.
Yeah.
Before, and you can tell what's happening through somebody's eyes.
Absolutely. You can get feelings and expressions and whether or not they're lying. You know, like just so many things. I went to I don't remember what kind of year she was, but it was at like one of the holistic fairs that we went to, and I was watching her and I was like literally engrossed in everything that she was saying. And she told me, she said, you know that you stare at people.
That was at the holistic fair here.
That was. And I don't remember what kind of reader she was.
It was you're not a palm.
It wasn't a palm.
It was like card reading, and it was a fortune teller.
Okay. And I was like, I didn't realize. And she goes, yeah, so you stare at people, and it's not that you're staring at people, it's so that you can see into people's soul.
Yeah.
And I was like,
and
oh,
she told
shit,
you, she
dude.
was like, I watched you stand over there and stare at me for 5 minutes before you came over here.
Yeah, because I was like, literally like, do I want to go to her? Do I not want to go to her? Like, is she the best one to go to? Like, and then all of a sudden I had an answer, and I didn't realize that was like the things that I was doing. I didn't realize that that's just something I do. And so I was sitting there and, you know, like we're engaging in conversation and she would tell me, you're staring at me again. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You're trying to look into my soul. Yup.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see
I truly
like, what's
believe
going
that
on.
eyes are a portal to your soul.
Absolutely. Which is why there are some religions that don't allow you to take pictures.
I didn't know that.
True story. I think it's like the Amish. That because a picture takes part of your soul is what they believe.
Well, I guess my soul is gone. Fuck.
So change talk reflects a personal aspiration. I'm sorry. Let me start over. Take two. Change talk reflects a person's aspiration for change. Oh my God. Literally gonna cover your notes with my foot. Thank you, Snuggles. I appreciate it.
She grunts at you.
So change talk reflects a person's aspiration for change. So if you think about it, if you're in a doctor's office, you can tell whether or not they're really wanting to change.
Mom, she's fat. Her fat hangs over her leg.
They have extra skin to protect them from fights. It's true.
I know it's true, but look at this.
She's fine. Leave her alone. Okay, so
that's a problem.
So you can tell when people want to change their behavior.
Yes.
You can also tell when they don't want to change their behavior.
Yes.
Right? They come up with every excuse in the book to not.
Okay, so One saying that I truly fucking hate are actions speak bigger than words.
Actions speak louder than words.
Yes. Yeah, I hate that.
Why? Because it's true or because you've seen it?
No. Because I can... Like, okay, so I was fighting with my ex-boyfriend at work.
Okay.
Okay? And he wanted me to be this whole upset thing. Okay? I'm at work. A server.
Right.
I don't get... I can't.
Right.
And he's like, you're not even hurt by this. I may not show that.
Right.
Because I can't right now.
Right.
But inside, I was falling apart.
Right.
And Rob saw me fall apart.
Right.
But you don't get to see that because I'm at work.
Mm-hmm.
So I can mask that.
Right, because we have been taught, or I have taught you, good, bad, or indifferent,
yeah,
that when you're at work,
that don't fucking matter.
Nothing else exists outside of work when you're at work. Now, are there times when that doesn't work?
So I've had to leave a few times because
like, same.
Like the story with Harley, like I left work because I knew I could not leave that outside of work that day. Right. And that's okay.
Right. So, but I think what this is, the actions speak louder than words, it's talking about like over an extended period of time, right? It's not like in that moment. It's not like you're always not going to show emotions in that entire relationship. That's not that, like,
right.
It's just like this one time, and had that person known you, then they would have known that work is a thing.
Right.
You know, and especially when you're working in the public with people, you know, doctors have lots of shit going on in their lives. They're not going to fall apart in the surgical room.
Right. They can't. You sometimes you
literally
just
you cannot.
Can't.
You know, and so...
And he was upset because I didn't fall apart in that second.
Yeah, no. I don't have time for that.
Don't have time for that. I'm opening the restaurant.
And I'm at work.
And I have tables.
Yeah.
And you want to fight on the phone.
I got tables coming in. I got phone calls. I'm the only person here. The
I'm
bartender
doing
hasn't showed
takeaway.
up. I'm doing takeaway. I got people lined up at the door. We're starting lunch rush. And I got 2 cooks in the back. I don't have time.
Yeah. And he was upset because I didn't fall apart at that moment.
No. Mm-mm. So, sustained talk reflects the patient's expressed contralateral desire to stay within or difficulty leaving their relative comfort zone of persistent unhealthy behaviors. Sustained talk includes expression of emotional difficulties or emotional barriers to change. Okay, so what sustained talk is talking about there is when people are trying to say, okay, I want to change, but I have this and this and this going on. And so they are talking themselves into sustaining those same behaviors.
Okay, so they're like excusing it?
Yes. They're giving excuses as to why they can't change. Okay.
And that's the sustained self-talk?
That's the sustained talk.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have the change talk that is saying, okay, like, yes, I do want to do these things. And then as a doctor or, you know, some kind of professional is where you have to start switching that sustained talk over to the change talk. Okay. So you kind of have to switch their mentality into, okay, yes, I get that you are a busy mom and you've got 3 young kids, but your health needs to be a priority. I get that you have 16 different schedules to do. I get that.
I had to learn that one when I was going through my POTS situation, and I was like, no, like, work. I was on the verge of a heart attack.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in the car with you on the way. I don't remember where we were going, but we were by Letterbuck, and you were like, "Dude, you gotta stop." And I was like, "I can't. Like, money." And you're like, "You're gonna die."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Fuck."
Well, I mean, like,
maybe that's a possibility. Maybe I should change that. And I ended up quitting a job because of it.
Right.
Because my health could not take it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I was only there for 2 weeks. And I was on the verge of a heart attack a few times in that 2 weeks.
Right.
I was working in the morning, and then I would walk about a mile to my other job, and then work there till close.
Right.
That's a lot on your heart.
Right. With no food.
With no food.
No hydration.
No
like, no break. Like, literally.
Yeah.
You know? And so they're talking about using that change talk to switch up that sustained talk.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Especially when you're doing the motivational interviewing technique in order to get the better behaviors in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Sorry.
No, you're totally good. So the last thing is planning for change. And that uses collaborative goal setting skills to help patients specify concrete action plans for health. So moving forward towards helping the patient formulate a specific action plan to initiate, improve, or otherwise change toward a desired health behavior. So tying enhanced motivation to a subsequent specific course of action makes it more likely that the motivation will be sustained.
I automatically go to when I was having that breakdown,
Mm-hmm.
and you were like, hang on.
I got something!
I was like, where are you going? And you brought out that big ass.
Oh my
My bad. I broke the stat.
Oh no! This is part of the reason why we're changing
Yes.
the display. Because these things attack everybody.
And you brought out that big ass sticky notepad.
Yeah. I have the big wall size. Well, not like wall size, but like
it's a pretty big sticky note.
Yeah.
And you were like, okay, write down the things that you have to do.
Right.
And I was like, I don't gotta do shit.
No, you did. You had stuff.
Right. But then after,
it was need to do, want to do.
Yeah.
And
then things to do so I could do the things that I want to do.
Right.
And there's a saying from somebody that doesn't matter, but I would always be like, you have to go to work. And he'd tell me all the time, I don't gotta do shit. I gotta stay white and die. That's what you used to always say. And that's true. You don't have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You don't got.
She's happy.
You don't gotta do shit. But you have to do those things in order to do the things that you want.
Right.
You can't just have those things that you want.
But that's a choice.
Yeah.
And that's a choice that everybody has to make.
Yep.
What are you trying to get to? What's your end goal? And then how do you get there?
Right.
And that can be something as, small as, figuring out what job to keep, or changing jobs, or changing careers, or getting on a better health plan, or starting a workout program, or going to work in the morning.
It's that self-discipline.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do those things that you want, or you have to do those things that you need to do before doing the things that you want to do. I wanted to go to Vegas with you.
Right. And you couldn't.
And I couldn't because I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go to Nebraska to go see my dad for Christmas. And I couldn't because I made the decision to spend my money unreasonably. So I couldn't pay my bills.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't go.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a consequence that I had to take.
Right. Yep. So that goes back to every choice has a consequence.
Yep.
Good, bad, or indifferent. You know what I mean?
And I think because mentally I was not in a good place around Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if I went to Nebraska, it would have ended up in a fight with somebody.
Right.
So I think that saved myself.
Right. So this article and the quote itself, because read the quote again.
Believe in yourself, daughter, and get ready for what is to come.
Okay. So what does this article have to do with this quote?
So the original, the title of the study is Using Motivational Interviewing and Brief Action Planning for Adopting and Maintaining Positive Health Behaviors. Mm-hmm. So,
So, like, where was I going with this?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
To be honest.
Okay. So, in order to get ready for anything, life, physical health, financial health, all of these things, we have to have a plan of action.
Right.
We have to know where we're wanting to be.
Okay.
In order to get there. We have to have a plan. Sometimes we need those trusted people or good friends or family in order to help us piece together how to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Sometimes those are hard conversations to have.
Mm-hmm.
And so this motivational techniques, the motivational interviewing is teaching not only us, but the viewers on how to get to that end point.
And it makes those harder conversations a little less hard.
Right.
Because it's not
an attack, right?
It's a straight conversation.
Right. So, in order to be ready for anything,
mm-hmm.
you have to know where you want to be first.
Right.
Right? You can't be like, oh, I am going to join a university tomorrow. What?
But how are you going to pay for it?
That takes some planning.
Where are you going to live?
Right. Have you applied yet? Can you get in yet? You can't just sign up for classes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you have the money?
Do you have the dorm?
Yeah. Are you going to live on campus? Are you going to live off campus?
Yeah.
How are you going to get there? Are you going to rent the bus? Do you have a car?
Yeah.
Do you have gas for the car? Do you have a job? Do you know, like,
yeah.
all of these things. So it doesn't matter what you're doing to get ready. But you have to have a general idea, overview of where you're wanting to go in order to do that.
Right. And I automatically go to, like, makeup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, moisturize. Yeah, do the primer.
Right.
You gotta do
but
that.
I need to have that end goal of what do I want to look like for this specific place that I'm going.
Right.
I do my makeup very differently when I'm going out.
Right.
I do my makeup very differently from when I'm going to work.
Right.
I do my makeup very differently than when I'm on camera.
Right. Yeah, it's a different process.
Yes.
Right. Because how I look on camera
is not how we look in person.
Is not, how we look in person. It's not the same makeup look that I do for work.
Right.
But it's the same makeup look that I do when we did the work Christmas party.
Right.
You know, like.
Yeah. and so you just have to know what you're doing in the end in order to make that plan. She lost a whisker.
Yeah. And the steps to get there.
Yes.
So not only do you need to know where you're trying to be. So, like, in the book, using the book for an example, you know, Zoe is trying to take Nepheret out of power because she's losing her fucking mind.
Okay.
Right? So, in order to get that to
Nepheret
happen, Nepheret is the current high priestess of the House of Night, of the Tulsa House of Night.
Okay.
Okay? So, in order to make sure that she is not taking advantage of the power that she currently has, and using that in a bad way that may impact the entire world's House of Knights, Zoe has to figure out how to stop her.
Mm-hmm.
In order to do that, she has to go through all of these changes in order to get to that end goal. She knows what needs to be done, but how is she going to be ready?
Right.
You know, she strengthens her bonds with her circle.
Mm-hmm.
She learns the lessons that she needs to. She learns to stop questioning herself. She learns to have faith in her circle. She learns to ask people for help. She learns to learn how to use her elements better. Mm-hmm. She learns how to piece herself together. You know, like, she has to learn all of these things in order for that end goal to happen. and how that translates very equally to life. You know, we have to be ready for those financial situations. We have to be ready to have kids. You don't have to be ready to have kids, but it damn sure makes it easier.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have to be ready to enroll in school. You have to be ready to take care of your car if your car ends up in the shop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to have a plan for all of these things. And in order to get through that, you have to really know yourself in order to do that. Because if you don't, then you end up struggling.
Right. And, like, with picking a school that I was going to, I looked at the schedule.
Yeah.
And one of them was, like, create your own schedule. And I was like, if I do that, I won't attend.
Because you knew that. You knew yourself enough to know that that wasn't going to be a feasible option for you.
And so I went with the school that was like, all right, it's Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5.
And during this time, we're doing bookwork. We're doing bookwork from this time, then this time, and then this time we're doing, you know, clinicals or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and like she's not gonna hold you hostage at those points.
Right.
You have to hold yourself accountable.
Right.
And there has been a few times where I was like, okay, I'm fucking over today. And it was like 4 o'clock, and I was like, okay, I can leave an hour early because I'm at a good stopping point. I'm over today. My head fucking hurts. I'm starving. I'm okay to leave. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I was okay to leave. But I held myself accountable. It was like, okay, that means that I need to stay an hour later, or I need to come in 30 minutes early and then stay 30 minutes later, like, to get those hours in.
Right.
Because if I don't, I'm going to be there for fucking ever.
Right. Right.
So you have to be able to hold yourself accountable, but still know yourself enough to be like, that option's not going to work for me.
Right. For X, Y, and Z reasons.
Right. But here's what can.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then coming back to that later and be like, okay, what do I need to do in order to work on X, Y, and Z reasons? Right? Because doing the work and being ready also means taking, like, coming at yourself sometimes. Because I have been coming at myself for the last week on some shit.
And then last night you were like, bro.
Like, I reached out to someone for help on that today. And was like, hey, I learned this. Can you possibly help me with this? And that was a huge step for me.
Yeah. That's multiple steps, because not only are you recognizing the issue.
Right.
But you're also asking for help. And you're willing
Which is normally a no-no.
Yeah. And you're willing to work on it.
Right. Right.
Willingly.
Yeah.
Because you saw the problem, was like, fuck.
Yeah. So I didn't know that was an issue, but here we are.
Yeah.
So how do I fix it? You know what I mean? Like,
it wasn't just like, yeah, no, that's an issue. Next.
Yeah. Moving on, because we're not gonna tackle that today. You know, literally the next day, I was like, okay, like I need to work on this. Yeah.
If that's something that you want.
Mm-hmm. So, do you agree with the quote?
I do.
Do you?
Yes.
Why?
But I also like go to the instant like saying of, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
I don't like that, though. I don't like that because it is impossible to be ready for every situation that comes through. A parent is not ready to lose their child.
Right.
A child is not ever ready to lose their parent. You know, nobody's ready to lose their significant other or their friend or their best friend or a family member or whatever.
Right.
Nobody is ever ready for those situations. So I vehemently disagree with that one.
Right. But I go with like with dancing competitions.
Right.
Like, if you stay ready from your last dance, then you don't have to redo your makeup. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that.
Right.
So there are times where that does work.
Yeah.
But it does not work in every situation.
Yeah. And I think those are very little situations that line does work on. That doesn't work in the big situations.
Right. And I automatically go to Kenzie. Oh, I miss her so much. And her mom still posts about her on Facebook. And it fucking crushes my soul.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
But she was 15.
Mm-hmm.
And she was the second oldest daughter. The rest of them were boys.
Right.
Nobody in that family was ready to lose that child.
No. Yeah, so I don't like that quote at all.
I don't either.
I don't. But I like this quote.
Yes.
I believe that in order to get ready for whatever is to come, you have to believe in yourself enough to know that, one, you can handle the situations that come your way, no matter how hard that is, because sometimes they're real fucking hard. And sometimes you do have to curl up into a ball in a dark room and cry it out, and that is 110% okay. And there are sometimes you're like, well, okay, well, this is what we're doing now.
So this is gonna suck, but
right, you know, like
I'm gonna fucking conquer this because I have to.
So I really think that belief in knowing that you can get through situations is super, super, super imperative, and can be life-saving.
Yeah. I was talking with somebody yesterday, and he was like, you're either going to get through a situation, or you're not.
You're not. And as harsh as that is, it's true. Get in my brain. My brain.
We have been doing that so much lately.
I know, it's crazy.
It fucking scares me.
You're in my brain.
I don't want you to be in mine.
Even over, like, text and
stuff. Fucking weird.
All right, so that being said, we want to thank you, Justin, for being a sponsor.
Whoop, whoop.
Yes. So thanks for joining us for this episode. Join us for our next episode where we talk about gifts. That's going to be an interesting conversation.
My nose hurts.
And that will wrap up the book.
This is the second quarter of the year.
Chosen. And this is what?
It's the second episode of the year.
This is the second episode of the year. Yeah.
How was y'all's New Year's?
Yes, I hope you all are safe and you came back. Maybe not in one piece. I totally get that.
Hangovers are a thing.
Hangovers are a thing. So join us next week as we come from the first quote from Untamed.
Yes.
And we will have a guest speaker for that one.
Who is it?
It is going to be Jen Kozlowski.
Oh!
I'm so excited.
I love her. She's my little stylist.
Yes, she is super intelligent, and she has the greatest conversations. She has a unique perspective based on her gifts. And so I am super excited and super honored to have you guys meet her because she is fabulous. Yeah. She has gotten us through some crazy situations and probably one of the most non-judgmental people I have ever met in my entire life. Yes, and their family is just all very spectacular.
We tried to kill her kids a few times, but it's fine.
Yeah, that wasn't us. That was Kisa. I blame Kisa, who was probably one of the best kids I've ever had in my life, who wasn't even mine to start out with. We'll post a picture of her. She's amazing.
I love my Kisa. She's a meow.
Yep. So anyways, that all being said, thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas about decor, or any of our changes that we've got going on, feel free to contact us on social media. We have a whole plan on ramping up our social media. So join us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook for any pictures and music that we have discussed in our episodes. Feel free to email us at smilegirldon'tbenervous@gmail.com. And all of our social medias can also be found at Smile Girl Don't Be Nervous. So thank you for joining us. I know this is a longer episode, but I think we covered lots of great stories in this one. So thank you so much. I hope you guys have a fabulous rest of your week, and we will see you next week. All right?
Goodbye.
Bye.